What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Any Percent Tournament, round 2 today. Actually, we will be having Rhea versus Sefaro today, and I'm going to be commentating together with Odme. I won't be on cam yet because the camera made some issues in the Discord earlier. We will be fixing that, and I'm potentially going to be here visibly in the next two races because today will be packed with some intense races. The round 2 races are going to be insane. So you guys definitely should stay tuned, but we will be starting this one with Rhea vs Sefaro, which is going to be interesting. Joining me today is Odme. Odme, what's up, dude?
This race is going to be good because never really know what can happen in a race. Rhea's PB is about a minute and a half better than Sefaro's, but races can be tough for some people.
Yeah, and then apparently Rhea hasn't been playing that much recently. Sefaro has been mainly focusing on no resets, as we see right here. He needs to close this one out to have his 50 no reset rule be alive. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Sefaro's consistency probably a bit better now. Rhea's skill is always very, very scary. Like, he's an insane runner. But as you said, this race can go either way. And I think we have Sefaro with us for now to maybe, as he finishes this one off, give us some thoughts about this matchup. What do you think?
It's gonna be an interesting one. Very. I'm really determined to win this one. I don't want to be a second round exit.
Definitely do it.
Although I'll say, well, I've been grinding and I've missed a lot of 103s recently. And Rhea has obviously a low 102, so he's probably more likely to get a consistent 103s and such. Yeah. I'm not sure how many other 102s he's gotten other than his current 102.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
that's kind of an odd one.
He is his first ever 102 because in his PB he almost skipped 102 until Bowser's.
No, it was his first ever 102, but I don't know how many, if he's ever gone it again after that run.
Okay. Right, he could either pull out some crazy stuff and win by like 2 minutes and get like a 101, or he could fall behind and lose.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm assuming. Like, he's either going to pop off or he's going to show some inconsistencies and some rustiness. We don't know. We don't know if he's been practicing or if he's not been playing at all. But I guess a 104.24 right there seems like a very solid time for a race and like a possibility to take this one. Might do better, might do worse. Definitely best of luck from us, Seth. I think we are potentially ready to be on our way. So can definitely leave this call to be counted down.
Indeed.
And then we're on our way.
Alright, hold up. Need to get a free file.
To see in the bottom left corner, we have our live proof screen it captures 3 very easy ones, because the first one is in Metro right at the start, and then the next 2 are in Snow, and they're right after each other.
Yep, so that's something to be aware of. And hey guys, I think I made it back. Sefaro had some issues with the Discord lag from the camera, so I think I'm visible now to lead you through this match. And once again, it's going to be an exciting one. Definitely hyped. And yeah, best of luck to both of them. So as far as I know, Sefaro is actually on 1.0 digital, and Rhea's probably on 1.0 physical.
Oh, 1.0 digital. Yep. Say if that's actually faster, because there's been some controversies with that.
Yeah, we do not exactly know if you can get the time save from this SD card load. There's like it's possible to obtain 1.0 digital, which is potentially the fastest version of this game, but the way we obtain it is like a bit dodgy, so it might not actually save time. But it's the version Sefaro is on right now, so I don't think they don't really have any version differences. I think this should be a balanced match in terms of versions. So.
Right, and they are off in Cap Kingdom, and I think Sefaro already had a faster load right off the bat.
Actually, yes, yeah, it was actually quite visible there. digital coming into effect. It might be the case that Rhea did not go into a run before this because, you know, there's like this longer load if you didn't load a file in advance. But not quite sure what happened there. Loads in this game can be a bit inconsistent. Sefaro actually dropping some rolls there and losing a lot of speed of that.
With motion controls.
Heading into the switch section, which is, in my opinion, the section where you can easily lose the most time in cap.
Sefaro talking to a sign.
To the sign right there.
Learn how to play the game.
Interesting start here for
Just a tutorial after all.
I don't even know what the sign says, but it probably says you can throw Cappy at like switches, I guess.
What's an ease, man? Come on.
Come on.
Entering the frog room. See these amazing vectors.
Well, that's definitely a new one. Haven't seen that one in a while. But that's obviously not a big deal, especially as we head into Cap Kingdom, which is literally the very first start of the run. Thanks for the follow, Rowan. I hope Sefaro can disable these alerts still on his screen.
Nice do it to him E on his alerts. Or turn that off. Alright, and Rhea is now entering Topper, which with our new spin throw strat that was found recently, it's a kind of a... Sometimes Mario can do an up throw even when you're shaking to the side, but Rhea gets it just fine.
Sefaro opting not to do that strat where he just basically lets his head hover behind Topper, so as the head spins, it's taking off the heads head by head, which is a bit slower, like 0.4, 0.5 seconds slower.
Actually missed left side and Sefaro got it, so... After talking to a sign.
Yeah, the thing with left side is it's obviously a nice time save if you get it. If you fail it, though, you're almost always working away with at least like a 5-second time loss off of the attempt.
Yeah, Rhea got like a 231 or 232 cap there. Probably would have been like a 229 or 230 if he got it.
Exactly. Heading into Cascade King right now, Rhea's definitely going for the first moon skip here. Pretty interesting camera angle, but it seems like he gets it first try anyways.
See Sefaro doing the dives and gets it as well.
That's always like the first big scary stuff in a race because it can basically have the runners in extremely different paces. This trick, no matter how much you practice, it still kind of seems to be inconsistent at some points.
Right. Dino jump first try from both. That's always good. That is definitely a race exclusive mistake from my experience. Most people miss that more in races than in actual attempts just because of nerves.
I do feel like sometimes when you are actually on like a gold cascade pace, everything seems to go well. Wow, that FMS was really clean, first try, good rolls, and then you miss like Dino skip. That's like when it happens for me usually.
Alright, no mistakes on Madame Brood either, which is always good. Part of Cascade, whether you're on 1.0 or not. Cappy can mess up and won't hit the chain chomp and you'll go off and then Madame Brood will start chasing you.
It's a very timing intense boss fight. You need to time your cap throw, your backflip, and your recapture. And then there's actually two ways to fight this boss. You can either shake or pull your stick back. Pulling your stick back is actually almost a second faster overall. It's a bit tighter. You need to capture the change up a bit quicker, but definitely a time set that everybody should go for. And chest flip is the next big one where I'm actually not sure if Rhea does it in his runs. I haven't watched him in a while. He hasn't been running much. But it's a small time set that in these races can actually be very visible.
Actually, the second moon clip that was incorporated in runs, right? After nut clip. Not going for it. Let's see if Sefaro does.
So the only thing that makes actually both not going for it, and the only thing that makes chest clip a bit worse, it's still better. It's still a better strat. You still save time with it, but you cannot open the chest that quickly. That's the other strat. You can throw Cappy very early and open the chest so the moon is grabbable as soon as possible. On chest clip, though, you need to kind of wait.
Nice little cutscene here, and then entering Sand Kingdom, which can definitely either give Rhea a bigger lead or swap the leads between the two because of two big tricks, Dram and Sphinx Clip. I assume both of them go for it. Either that, or they're going to do the notes route without it. Definitely is the bigger one in races, and I'm assuming both of them will go for single clip, because double clip is worth it if you're doing like attempts, but if you miss the second clip, screwed essentially, and you like have to do notes as a backup.
We do know for a fact that it's actually possible to route in nodes as a like set moon. The only problem with that is that you need to be very interesting camera there from Rhea. The camera literally just flying over the city.
Probably trying to reduce some lag from the town.
I mean, that's probably a meme, but I mean, it might play a role. I've never timed that actually. Some people actually said that, but I can't really see. I mean, there's definitely some instances of this game lagging, but in my experience, this town is not that bad. It's usually like Metro or like the water stream and wooded.
Both getting that pipe suck. That's always good. Missing that pipe is pretty unfortunate because most of the time you'll bonk and then you'll have to do some weird movement to get back into it.
Yeah. And whenever Mario rolls with speed into this pipe, he's just getting sucked in, as Otmi basically said, which is actually faster than the normal animation where he slowly just enters the pipe. Yes, and going pretty well so far.
Try Dune from both. Hardest moon in the game. And now we get Dram coming up. Everybody's favorite strat.
Yeah. Still awesome every time we see it. I think Rhea might have dropped it there because he took some time to actually set up the dive. Yep.
Yes.
Didn't get it there.
It.
Very quick backup though.
The thing about Dram is you can only hold Cappy out for so long, so you have to shake like before you touch the moon, and if you shake too early and you miss the moon, Mario will go into the bullet bill anyway, and if you go too late, then Cappy will come back to you, and you lose about...
Yeah, probably. And then you can either, like, if your backup isn't clean, Rhea's backup was clean enough there to actually make the bullet bill manipulation happen, so he could grab the moon and then just instantly get the next bullet bill. But if you drop that one as well, this section can lose you a ton of time.
Let's see if they get the spin pound. It's one of the harder ones because you have to time your rolls perfectly to land right on it to get that spin pound. And now
Sphinx clip. Rhea probably opting for single clip. Gets it first try. Definitely nice. Sefaro coming up.
Delaying your roll cancel on Sphinx clip does make it a bit easier, but obviously doing it instantly is faster, and both getting it first try, well.
That's what we want to see. Interesting down throw strat there from Rhea, definitely unintended. You can actually only down throw a Pro Controller with a ground pound, but yeah, it was unintended.
Join the Joy-Con squad with Fur, and...
Sefaro is actually on Joy-Cons, yeah. Sefaro is one of the few Joy-Con runners, and once again, we've talked about this sometimes in these races before, but Joy-Cons are technically, like just of the mechanics of the Joy-Con, it's the better speedrun controller. It allows some exclusive strats which can be used to gain a speed advantage, but it's kind of uncomfortable for a lot of runners to hold them. They are very small and kind of the buttons and sticks are very, not the high quality of the Pro-Con, which is the preferred option, I think, for most runners.
See, the optimal strat is if you're doing something that requires Joy-Cons to be fast controller, you use Pro Controller and then turn on your Joy-Cons and use that for the down throw and then just go back to Pro. The hybrid setup is perfect.
I think some people actually do that, especially I've been talking about this, the section where Rhea is, for example, currently. Every time there's a slope and Mario needs to roll it up, it seems like Joy-Cons get more rolls, and because the motion controls are decently more, like they react better, and so you get more rolls. For Seth, this slope actually almost looks like a flat surface because he gets a roll on pretty much every single time he touches the ground.
The reason Joy-Cons are better for rolling is because since they're separate, you can shake one Joy-Con to constantly roll, but if you're shaking them both, they count as separate entities essentially, so you get an extra roll each time, whereas with the Pro Controller, you have to constantly shake to keep getting rolls.
And that doesn't necessarily like add to the speed, but you just get more rolls. Especially on slopes, this comes in handy because if you drop a roll on Procon going down a slope, you will slightly move to the left or right, where the Joy-Cons just allow you that straight line.
Rhea and Sefaro both entering Lake, I'm assuming. Assuming none of them choose Wooded first.
No Wooded's first here. It
The
just
Wooded
straight up
is
loses
the
time in
safer
this
option
category.
in races to do first if you just want to get it out of the way, but Lake is faster by like half a second because you don't have to manually select it.
I mean, I can see it in the tens. Like, you can go to Wooded because, oh, I want to get this out of the way. I can just reset if it doesn't work. In races, it shouldn't really matter. In other categories, Wooded first actually allows us some fancy stuff because it changes the order the paintings in this game lead you into, which is like post-game stuff after you actually beat the game. Because this game actually just really starts in terms of moons once you beat it. But any percent doesn't need to deal with this. Just gotta beat Bowser and escape from the moon.
After this Zipper Moon, they obviously won't do it, but there is a route change that happened in Lake recently where you do a little cappy clip through the wall. I believe Minush found it.
Yep.
Actually, roll and bounce off cappy to clip into that little alcove where that Zipper Moon is. And if you do a precise up throw and grab that checkpoint where the secret pass would be, you can actually go out of bounds and get the chest moon underwater in that little maze area, which normally would take forever, and warp to the chest where the flag was, and then you can just do Lake without beating Rango, and it saves about 2 seconds. But it's not RTA viable, like, at all.
Yeah, currently not at all. It potentially saves a bit of more seconds because the clips we used to compare it were a bit sloppy, but still, it's a very hard clip, and you essentially need to get it first try and get that movement to save time with it. But it is possible, and yeah, actually on the right side you can see it right there on Rhea's screen, but there's a little alcove there with a chest, which is supposed to be, you're supposed to get there through one of these paintings, but yeah, this is like the one glitch we could do here potentially in the future if we find a consistent setup for this clip. But none of them are doing that yet.
Shoal said in the chat, this race is pretty close right now, but Wooded can determine everything. Somebody could lose multiple minutes here.
Wooded,
you know, a lot of time.
Wooded is always the big one, especially we've still not, and I'm actually so curious about this because many people have been failing the wall jump for the tank moon, but none of them actually have fallen into deep woods yet, which is obviously good for them. But I mean, it can always happen, and if that happens, the minute time loss might actually occur.
Yeah,
but
deep
I mean,
woods.
I don't wish for anyone.
Pretty scary. There actually did used to be a route that went into deep woods, found by I Ate Your Pie, everybody's favorite, and then it just got thrown in the trash like 2 days later.
So deep woods does have some decently fast moons. The thing with it is you can't warp out of them, so you need to like plant a seed. You can kind of use the downtime of the seed and do like a timer challenge moon, but still, it's very inefficient to go down there because it has loading zones and there's a lot of movement you need to do. So currently, deep woods for 80%, not the best chances. But what does have chances are is the nut clip, which is coming up on probably both player screens here. I'm pretty sure Rhea used to learn it before he stopped running actively. I mean, he's still running, but at the moment he's pausing a little bit. He's still, I think, top 6. I think he's 6th, maybe 7th. I don't know. He's definitely a top runner.
5 is 101, and then him and Strav are tied. So I think.
Oh yeah.
6th, and then him and Strav are tied for 7th.
But
Pretty
actually,
nice
I'm not sure. Didn't
bunny.
Fer get a 101?
That's what made top
actually...
5 101.
Oh yeah, okay. But I mean, there's still Equan with like a 102, 02 or something.
All right, coming up for Rhea, the infamous. Oh, nice bonk! Infamous nut clip for Rhea. If he doesn't get it, he'll either opt for the old route with pipes or go for rock clip, which still saves some time if you get it pretty fast.
So it looks like he got it.
And he does get it.
It's the easier part of
Not
the
even
route, though,
close.
because you do need to go through this out-of-bounds section, which is very scary because you want to grab this moon.
Okay. It's
Last
still not
scary
over.
part.
There's still a hard part with this little ramp here because your camera angle can kind of screw you over, but not a problem for him. Commentators curse. I'm sorry.
This ramp can be quite sketchy. Let's see if you can get it next time. There's different strats for it. Sef actually clears this section pretty easily. Wow, actually having to kind of dive to the right there to get enough height. But since he's been doing a lot of no resets, he seems pretty confident on it. Actually pretty sick movement there for the ramp with the side flip. It's one of the safer options.
Sefaro definitely making up some time. That side flip off the top of the ramp, that makes it... Because if you just do a single jump, you can drop it like Rhea did, I believe, and then you can also just not make it up there because the jump isn't high enough. But with a side flip, you're almost guaranteed.
Yeah, I really like the side flip strat. That makes it a lot easier, as Rhea just pretty much leaves this maze moon. So the only moon that pretty much separates him is this one, which is like probably like a 15-second difference, maybe 12. So Rhea has very clean movement there for the Piranha.
Man, when are more people doing that spin pound strat? Come on.
Onto the nuts or over the gap? You mean over the gap, right? Yeah, that's scary. But I mean, you do it. You do cloud boost sometimes, so let's not get into this. You're crazy. And yeah, Sefaro unfortunately taking damage on the poison jump there, which hurts him twice because he's losing his speed. He's taking damage, and this moon is refilling him, so probably like a 4th second time this season.
Yeah, poison jump is kind of jank. Oh, jeez. Poison jump is kind of jank because I believe you need to buffer a triple jump to get it correct. Please, Rhea! Oh no.
Okay, so he's lucky but unlucky. Obviously, this is a bigger death. The good thing is if he was to die before this Piranha Moon, he would have spawned at the shop. So now he at least is gonna be at this section to redo his attempt. Wow.
In that little frame of poison, jeez.
Yeah, at this point they are pretty much tied. So we will see the difference here between Flower Road and Flower Road Skip, which at this point is pretty much exactly the same.
God. Oh, Rhea. No. This is one of the few times the out of bounds part has not been the struggle for Wooded.
Yeah.
Also.
That's mostly true. I've seen most of the races I've seen mainly got through the out of bounds section, but then the problems occurred after. We've seen multiple people actually die before Piranha and then spawn at the shop. Yeah, Ray having some issues here.
This is another big route change that I believe it saves 4 seconds if you do it perfectly. They're either going to go fight Spewart, which I'm assuming Rhea will because he needs coins, but you never know. You can either fight Spewart or you can just jump off the tower and do a bunch of other moons that make up for it.
So Sefaro definitely trying to fight Spewart there with the backflip. I'm pretty sure Rhea's also going to try to fight Spewart here. No! Rhea actually opting to go for this Spewart skip route where you basically spin pawn off the tower and then grab 3 different moons. We probably won't see big times here from this because he bonked at the start of the tower, but if the rest goes well, he might still save like a second or 1.5 of that route.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Now that's another instance where you have to buffer a jump because if you don't, Mario will break his legs essentially and spend 2 seconds or so just staying on the ground before you can move.
A good instance why this route even works is actually shown right here. So Rhea just entered the sub area as Sefaro touched this multi-moon. But while this multi-moon animation is still going, Rhea already got his first moon, and he's probably going to grab his second moon while this warp transition still plays. So this cutscene is super long. Oh, actually, unfortunately, losing height of Rhea, so he's not going to be saving time with that.
Pipes has always been... Like, it was out of the route for a little bit until we realized it was faster, but Pipes has always been one of the scary parts of the Wooded route because doing it damageless was extremely hard back in the day, and it still is kind of difficult.
Definitely.
Strats made where each little movement you do guarantees you to get damageless unless the game decides to lag, because it does like to lag a lot when Cappy touches a fuzzy.
This section is awful in terms of lag. But Rhea probably looking at around a 10 to 12 second difference here. Like he's probably 10 to 12 seconds, which is nothing, especially with these kingdoms coming up, Snow being a big one, also obviously Metro. So we'll see. Sefaro probably not ahead of his PB leaving this. I mean, that's still a solid pace, a sub 20, but not actually making too many mistakes though on the other side. I mean, he dropped No, he did get ram. Where did Sefaro lose time? He lost time somewhere.
Oh, you missed poison jump, I guess.
Yeah, he missed that. Lost some time there. But other than that, this is still a solid run for both of them. But definitely the race, as a race, is super close. And Cloud is kind of the...
As you see, oh, Sefaro's not doing it. There is a strat where you can go behind Bowser, and it does knock him further away, but that only makes him jump one space instead of halfway across the battlefield, as Reya's doing it right now.
Yeah, there's two different ways. You can either make him jump one space, two spaces, and if you don't do anything, he's just gonna jump 3. I think if you get all of them, you can save like probably 0.5 per field per cycle. So probably the optimal manip can save like 1.5 to 2 seconds. It's not much, but in this kingdom it matters because it's not much you can do to save time. But it's a short split anyways. It's like 1 minute and a half.
All right, now lost. Everybody knows this kingdom for being scary.
Two things make it that scary. Oh yeah. So two things make it mainly scary. One of them being the poison, one of them the small chance that someone could actually activate Klepto, which is the entire reason we do that route, because we want to skip his trigger. That's why we go up left. And then we activate him later so he doesn't even steal Cappy, which is what the game actually intends him to do.
Fortunately, since we don't get any checkpoints here, because we essentially make a big circle around the whole kingdom, at any point, aside from maybe the very end, you lose a lot of time. If you die at the end and you have the cage broken, if you go for that moon, you can still go get it at all in that area, then you will trigger Klepto, so anywhere here.
Every death basically, like now they will, Sefaro will be activating Klepto, so he will be disabled for him to steal Cappy, but if he was to die during this section, he would be re-enabled, so he would need to go there again.
Struggling. That moon sucks. Enough said.
Yep.
Then we're going for cage triple.
Kind of need to roll cancel into right angle to this moon.
Right, like I do.
Yep, I don't think we will be seeing your strat for this one. This strat is already scary enough. You can obviously always add some... Actually, Sefaro is not going for it.
Reya is, though. This is the alternate. Everybody except me does. Where you essentially just put Cappy near the closest guy to the cage, and then long jump and triple jump off the tree.
That was actually almost a live comparison. It was definitely visible how Reya made up time with this, and now Sefaro also taking the death, so Reya will actually be coming at round 2, definitely delivering so far with some very intense stuff.
Where Sefaro died, we actually used the death boost there instead of realizing you can just save yourself, so
yeah,
not too punishing, but he still did lose some coins. So.
Yeah, actually, I think Sefaro's coin count is good. I've seen Reya, I think, a bit lower on coins, but he should still be definitely fine for snow. I haven't checked Sefaro's coin count.
During Night Metro, where this is actually the first capture moon. Let's hope both of them get it. And it's actually the very first moon you get in Metro, so it shouldn't be too hard to remember.
Exactly. So Night Metro is usually like a scary kingdom when you start up running. It gets a lot better when you play a lot.
Fortunately, no more people's jump.
No more people's jump.
We found out that's slower.
Yep. You can like, it was the OG impossible jump where I did like
triple jump. Everybody was going nuts about it, and then we just realized this is easy. Let's put it in speedruns. Oh, yep. Reya bonking. Sure. Yes, he does. Okay.
Seth getting the first capture. Reya probably getting it right there. Actually bonking again. He's been bonking a lot. His head probably hurts quite hard. He can obviously still make up the time. Getting the capture though. That's what we want to see.
That the run is pre-recorded. I mean, live.
Okay, Reya missing Goomba jump there, which is one optimization.
Pre-record every scenario.
Yeah, and then live splice. Giggle. Well, to be honest, so Night Metro gets better when you get more experience, but this section especially, if you make a mistake, is hugely punishing. The City Hall climb.
Yeah, City Hall is definitely the hardest part. find a way, like a certain spot on the poles, specifically where that purple coin is, where you can just mash B and you don't end up falling. Points in the game, we did have to like time our jumps, or else we would fall down.
Pretty tight jump there from Rhea, not making it without a problem. And actually, what is funny, so Rhea is quite behind right now, but this Wiggler can actually change a lot. So Sefaro already missing some shots there in the first cycle, and depending on how good his 2 cycle that he hopefully can get is, Wiggler might change the lead here again. Let's focus on this one.
Wonder if they'll get the same pattern at the same time, like 2 other people did.
Yeah, that was awesome. I've never seen that before, but this happened in this tournament before. So Wiggler, once again, one of the very few instances of RNG, but pretty controllable. Like, you can control, I guess you can react on the pattern he does decide to go for, which the pattern is random.
Into those little corners there, because those are the exact spots you want to be, so that Wiggler takes as little time as possible to go into the walls. Cycle from Sefaro, wow.
Definitely what you want to
crazy.
see. We are missing 1 shot there. He's probably going to be able to decently save that.
Sometimes even if you have 1 shot left on Wiggler, the hitboxes can screw you over and you'll still get a 3 cycle, because sometimes the pieces can overlap and your shots just don't hit.
Yep. That's always the possibility. And I mean, both of them, actually, I think Rhea got a slightly more unlucky pattern, but definitely reacting to it well enough. Not going, still definitely very, very close. Scoot clip, probably the next one that can change a lot. So let's see if Sefaro can get that one first try.
Day Metro overall is just, it's not as scary as Night Metro, I'd say, but it's just pretty difficult to do everything perfectly.
You can probably lose time in more different spots, but the time loss is less. So even if you make a mistake, you're not getting punished as much. I mean, there's big sections, especially the higher level of Metro, I'd say, when you get the Trash Moon and stuff, you can obviously lose a lot of time. But these are like uncommon mistakes on that level. Still possible. Let's hope it doesn't happen.
Turning that controller upside down. Oh, missing it.
Missing it first try. So this is Rhea's chance once again to catch up. Missing it a second time. My god. Actually, Rhea might just take... Oh, Rhea missing it. What is happening? Okay. Scooter not being nice at all, actually.
Sefaro gets it.
Managed to get... Okay, Rhea probably saving some time there, though. Like, compared to Sef. He's catching up a little. Definitely interesting Scooter section.
Sefaro.
Oh, no! Sefaro unintentionally capturing the poor Rhea, not getting it at all. Kept homing into a box right there. Very interesting.
What they were trying to do there is that moon spawns and gives you just enough time so where instead of pressing Y to do your dive, you just ground pound and shake to dive, because that's a thing in this game. And that also homes Cappy in on that little pole, and that's just climbing back up to it. Is going to be from each of these guys.
So both doing going for early positions. So this is just basically a reordering in terms of how we get the moons, which saves like 1.5 to 2 seconds if done optimally. It's pretty free though, so the only new movement basically was what both of them just did, this pole flick, and now it's pretty much the same, just another order, and then we warp out of the last sub-room.
Yeah, this is super close now.
Yeah, damn, like probably like 5 seconds, 6 seconds, pretty much nothing at all. Very interesting freeze frame there. Very interesting face that Mario shows.
Forgetting about OTEP right there. I mean, dead meme. No, don't talk about it.
Actually, interesting glitch there. You saw on Rhea's screen the city hall was empty, and I think this is kind of caused when you bonk against Pauline before you talk to the drummer, because she can't be loaded into the room. But interesting to see. Super close. Probably like 2 seconds apart right now.
Everybody's favorite.
Damn, this is
now they're going to probably the hardest part of Day Metro, aside from Scooter Clip, I guess, which is the tippy, I guess you could say, of Metro, where they jump all the way down to a trash moon, climb all the way up to the tippy top of the tallest building, then they go all the way back down to the people room.
Rhea having like a Koopa free running spin pond that it looked actually disgustingly quick. Probably saving some time though in Sef.
Sefaro, messing up a bit.
And this is also something that's slightly underrated. Sometimes spin pounds that we do, these buffered ground pounds, where we do 2 spins to make them quicker and cut the animation. If you do them better over the run, you can actually save quite a bit of time. Like, your spin pounds can change a lot.
Caught up because of the climb, just a little bit.
Yeah, his climb was
Like
slightly faster, pretty much tight.
Oh, it's far not going for the dive cancel on the railing there.
Yeah, Rhea showing some better movement on these moons. And definitely showing... Very, very sick movement here from Rhea to kind of push him over the edge and pretty much solidifying a little lead here. Metro is almost done, but Snow is obviously another big one. Rhea, though, I think used to be the world record holder for the Snow IL. Might, oh my god. Did I jinx him? I jinxed him.
Oh no.
I guess Metro wasn't over.
Camera here is really stupid.
So I guess Metro wasn't over. And this jump in particular, there's like this little strat that you can do where you skip the cap bounce and just dive onto the next like pole, I guess, where you can swing off. Rhea just opted to not go for it the second time. It almost saves nothing. So yeah, these little things can sometimes cost you. But if you do them, Rhea showed how you can also gain time. It's pretty much a balance between going for faster strats, getting them, and then sometimes messing up. But this race is still as close as it can be. Like probably 5 seconds between them now. Maybe like 7 or something.
Snow can be another big decider, mainly because of Snowdram, but also Poison Room is another big thing in Snow.
Oh yeah.
Whether you're doing Snowdram or not.
In this tournament especially, Poison Room has been relentless, has been getting deaths over deaths. People have been dying like 3 times there. It's definitely a scary room. So both of them will be getting the Captain Toad Moon first. Which, it's not too hard, obviously, you just gotta talk to the captain here. Get the moon.
Or just barely destroying the home.
Yeah.
He wants Toad to freeze.
I mean, on Rhea's screen, he might still be fine. Sefaro not destroying his entire house with a spin pond. We've seen people destroy this entire home with 1 spin pond. Rhea probably leaving Toad there to freeze now, since this home seems to be broken.
Doesn't make any sense, because there's an entire village down below, but okay.
I mean, he wants to camp there, I guess.
And this village is actually where we're going to get the majority of our moons, because unfortunately we don't do the Bound Bowl race, so we only get 2 moons outside. Open outside once you get World Peace here, but that's slow.
Yeah.
Umbrella.
Getting the second capture, and the third one is actually about to happen after this one. Rhea getting the second capture, nice to see.
Will this be a strike? Let's find out. Nope, not for Sefaro. This is actually pretty good luck on the capture moons.
Nice.
Just
Both of them
2
getting,
right after another.
Getting 3 out of 3. That was something that I was expecting as soon as this change, basically, as this live verification method happens, people will get used to it. Nice to see.
Listen up a bit. They're in sync. Oh no, this is gonna be.
Yeah, Rhea once again catching up with some advanced movement here.
Can be kind of interesting to capture because the gust can either blow you away or a Cappy. Story moon. Now, this and Metro are actually 2 instances where getting the story moons are fast.
Yeah, the thing with Snow is it's pretty much also our only option. I mean, we would get other moons if we could, but there are just not many moons available to us. The main moon, as you said, the main moons in this game basically get spawned when we got World Peace, which is in this case finish the race down there at the bottom. Other categories do that because those other moons are so fast, but in any percent, it's still fastest to just not touch the race at all.
Doing the Goomba stuff. pretty easy compared to Poison Room for sure. Those Goombas to die, wow.
You add... Runners do add some difficulty with this triple jump right there. And Rhea consistently showing some movement optimizations. For example, he didn't throw Cappy there, got 3 rolls in instead of 2, so he's gaining those little advantages over Seth there on all of these tiny optimizations. Which makes him...
Moment of truth. No, the shop.
They both have enough coins, which is nice, so they will be able to afford this moon, but the jump after is gonna be the big one.
Alright, both getting that talk first try. And both getting heart skip pretty. Weight off your shoulders so you can get that. Then the part after this is like a joke. Shop is like 10 times harder.
Yep. All you do basically is throw Cappy and jump off of it, and you basically get a free moon. Not at all, though, because this jump is pretty much the hardest jump in this run.
Oh,
Rhea actually not getting it first try. Oh, Zeph was uncomfortable with the setup there, and Rhea getting it first try. Nice. I mean, not first try because he went back, but the first time he actually went for it. And Zeph getting it as well. Nice. That's what we want to see. Oof, almost falling there.
You get Snowdram, it's not over yet because you can fall down and then have to warp back up, and obviously it's not as punishing, but you still have to warp and you lose about 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. Well, anyways, Seaside, I can't even say that you can take a breather in Seaside because there's so many hard jumps that can give you a lot of time loss. Also the fish movement. I'm assuming actually Rhea to solidify his lead over Seaside because he's shown his movement is usually clean. So if he gets it here, he will solidify his lead. But yeah, this kingdom is interesting. Can lose a lot of time. It's not too hard, but the jumps where you can lose time can be punishing.
I'll definitely overlook Seaside and how difficult it can be sometimes, but no problem for these two guys, hopefully.
Different opening strat there. Sefaro going for the safer version of just triple jumping up. Rhea, once again, some advanced movement and saving time.
Inbound from Rhea.
Yeah, I like doing that strat as well, because it's kind of hard to buffer the spin point during the roll. I like buffering it in the jump. Sefaro not spin pointing at all, just ground pounding that move, which is quite a bit slow. Once again, Rhea, this is pretty much the recurring theme. So Sefaro is playing very clean, not many mistakes, but Rhea's showing some more advanced movement. Also doing this strat, which is just insane to look at. It's so clean.
Sefaro.
Oh,
That's enough a bit on Jet Stream. Pat there, so he does have to go on the lower ledge. Or not. Cappy came back just in time.
Well, Rhea is showing in this kingdom especially why he's a top runner. Going for literally all of the hardest strats you can do there, like the Flower Rocket Refresh, this double spin pound strat after the Gushen Moon. Really, really clean Seaside so far.
What you do if you don't get the rocket storage, you just take a Gushen. It doesn't lose that much time over it.
No, it's slightly less optimal, but definitely if you're not comfortable, because you can actually drop the flower and then not get the nodes at all, which is obviously a huge deal. But yes, Sefaro having some bigger issues here, taking damage, and they were like 7 seconds apart leaving snow. I'm pretty sure Rhea might be looking at a bigger lead after this one, but Luncheon, Kingdom after this one, way scarier.
Yeah, Luncheon could give Sefaro a huge lead if it doesn't want to be nice. The underwater part of Seaside is pretty chill, aside from the occasional fish bonk, which can annoy a lot of people.
Yeah, the way you can optimize your fish movement is pretty crazy. If you watch runners like Stravos, who has probably arguably the best Seaside in the world.
Played on a whole nother level in Seaside.
Yeah, you'll see how much a good fish movement can actually change. He's probably saving like 1 second or 2 seconds even of like super clean fish movement over other runners. Just taking optimal lines, it does matter so much.
Now Rhea entering Luncheon, which is on par with Wooded for one of the hardest kingdoms, mainly because it's late game and nerves could probably get to you. But also it is just... say it's as hard as Wooded now, since we have the out of bounds stuff, but it is...
Yeah, Breya with a insanely clean seed set. Actually, there's still some minor things you can improve, but when they left Snow, Rhea was like 7 seconds. That he probably gained like 15 seconds on Sefaro in this kingdom. But once again, Luncheon being the bigger Punisher, coming up. Actually, no, it's the next kingdom.
I'm actually quite surprised at them being able to keep this race so close, because ever since like Scooter Clip happened, it hasn't been more than maybe 20 seconds apart.
That's true.
Alright, Rhea getting that salt pile jump. That jump has been through many different forms of movement. Like, we originally did a super slow triple jump off of a higher ledge, and that proceeded into like a ground pound jump, which is a bit faster. Triple jump off the salt.
Yep. That's the final form for now. Other categories do like other stuff there with forks and stuff. Actually, Rhea dropping this wall jump, the surface is kind of weird, which is a reoccurring theme in Luncheon. The entire geometry of the rocks and like the ceilings is super weird and kind of behaves weirdly in some cases.
His first time fighting Spewer in the run, but Sefaro's second time, so
that's true, yeah.
Sefaro might have some more experience, but this guy is pretty tough.
Yep, Rhea did skip this fight in Wooded, as Sefaro just has a little rematch with this boy here.
Rectangle, not circle.
Big refight, big changes. Seth not going for the fastest try to hit him. You can actually throw your head like behind him and then back. Ah, does it here. Maybe didn't get it on the second hit just because he did not set up his cap. But that's a little faster.
Yeah, Spear hitbox is kind of weird because if you hold Cappy out and then release him too early, it won't even hit Spear at all. So you have to like just jump on him. A little spin throw optimization to dive down and hit that door.
Not getting it optimally. It's possible to save a little more time with that, but let's see what strat Sefaro goes for. Very clean sub room from Rhea though. Nice spin pound roll cancel to get out of the...
rolling into the door. Nice.
Also interesting movement from Rhea that he approaches the rock from the right side. Most runners actually flick onto it with the fork. We might see Seth do that. It probably is pretty close in terms of timing. It's just personal preference. Seth just
missing the box. Cup that he did was actually the main strat we did for a while. I believe it was found by Valu, like very early on.
Yep.
Started learning to do it. But Sefaro might be doing
look at Seth. He's probably going the down throw. Woo!
Ooh.
Damn. He was trying to show off his Joy-Cons there with his exclusive down throw, but sadly missed the crate.
Maybe he'll get another chance in Bowser's.
Oh, yep, that's true. There is a potential shots.
Gotten that strat in Bowser's yet?
Yeah, Fur actually does it. I mean, I don't know if you're talking about the... Oh, Rhea missing the cycle of the lava bubble. Not sure if you're talking about Zinpa strat, but there's also like another down throw strat that Goyuya, a Japanese runner, posted, and I'm pretty sure Fur does that in runs.
Alright, now entering the forks room. Except for when motion controls don't work. Like Cappy almost... there.
Yep. Cappy sometimes just doesn't react.
This is actually probably another advantage Joy-Cons have, because Cappy Joy-Con experience in the short time I use them for this game, much more responsive than Pro Controller.
Wow, Rhea missing Podoboo jump once there, which is not the biggest time loss, as he has a pretty quick backup. You need to hit the right slope again to make that. But a small time loss for him there. Coming up to Turnip Clip, which is potentially another big one. Let's see how he does the setup here.
Kobe, let's find out.
Not being able to keep speed with the turnip, so he's probably gonna just go for a slower strat. I don't think this position is gonna work at all. Needs to readjust.
Adjusting. Does that turnip has to be on the left, right? For
Yep.
it to work. Okay.
You can only really clip on the left side of the cage.
Both players are doing the proper strat of taking the golden turnip because that's the only one that matters.
So far, opting for like a mini Kobe approach, I would be very interested if that works. Looks like a position where it might work, and if he can squeeze the bro in.
Oh,
I accidentally killing him, so he needs to get another one. Not sure if this position works. Looks possible.
Oh my
no.
God.
He's just a mass murderer.
Luckily, I guess killing the pan bro is not as punishing as killing the turnip.
It's not. Let's see if he was trying to go for his down throw strat there.
Needs to readjust the turnip by like a lot.
It's best for him to just readjust at this point because the pan bro is not slipping at the right spot. He should probably just readjust. Oh, okay. Making that spot work somehow.
Twitching his meat with B.
Yep. Well, obviously very unfortunate time loss for Sef. Still definitely not a dead race because we have Mech coming up, we have Bowser's coming up, Moon Bowser fight.
We have Dragon coming up.
Dragon, another big one, potentially. I mean,
Before?
no, it's impossible. But for real, Dragon, pretty rare death. But it can happen, and if it happens, it's literally the biggest time loss you can take.
Unless you're 4 minutes ahead of your PB, then your run is dead if you die on Dragon.
That's true. Yeah.
It would be insane if either of these players were 4 minutes ahead. They'd be sub 1 pace.
Yep.
He has sub 1, so doesn't matter anyway.
It's a secret. But anyways, Rhea leaving for Dragon fight right now. Sefaro really only needs to take the Odyssey to get there and sit through some cutscenes. But we can't really assume a Dragon death. It just happens so rarely. But especially Bowser's is another big one. And I don't know if Rhea hasn't played at all, because if you haven't played Mech for a while, it is always a little rusty when you get there.
For the most optimal movement here, which is perfectly fine because that movement is stupid.
Yep. There's different approaches right there. Rhea definitely didn't lose much time on this move and was still pretty fast. And let's see how his fight overall goes, because you can still optimize your ruin depending on how well you like unplug the pins on the Dragon's head.
Heart. Hopefully that doesn't cost him.
He hit the dragon there very early. He might actually take damage twice. Still having the timing down, but you can actually.
I think you can only take. I think you can only take damage twice on the third phase because it
that
lasts
might be true.
longer.
That might be true. Yep, I've taken damage there twice before, like on the third phase, but it's definitely good to go. He has plenty of hearts to play with.
Damage twice, you have to be like constantly watching those purple guys that spawn out of the swords, because if they jump on you, you never know what can happen.
Yep. Once again, even
solid auto scroller from him so far as Sefaro enters it.
He's playing the fight well though, like he's unplugging the pins very quick and gets some very fast ground pounds in.
Despite how much of a meme Ruined is, it is actually a pretty nice break from...
Yeah.
Because if we did Luncheon and Bowser's in a row, it'd be like too stressful for some people to handle.
For sure.
Hard and scary kingdoms, especially at the end of a run.
Very solid fight from Rhea here.
We're not too far behind, but Turnip Clip definitely did much safer lead compared to what was happening at the start of Luncheon.
Well, yeah. Bowser's next kingdom for both of them.
Ow.
And Bowser's also has obviously like shards, and I mean, I guess the ogre is still there. It's not as as scary as shards, but shards as well, and also the refights of the bosses. A lot of instances where I can use time and potentially even die.
Finishing up the dragon now. As Rhea enters Bowser's. See what happens here. See if the ogre pushes him off the stage or something.
So Bowser's is, I think, still our longest split. Like, just going off theoretical numbers. But that's mainly, once again, because of all of the cutscenes that we need to sit through. Like, just defeating the mech until you actually leave is like 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then there's all these story moon cutscenes and small cutscenes when you destroy the ogre. But the movement that you do is pretty intense, but it's not actually too much. The mech fight, though, is obviously, once again, the very big one.
And Bowser's are the only two kingdoms where getting the multi-moon is required to progress.
That is correct. So yeah, long jumping over to this ogre for a triple jump, actually canceling the triple jump into a spin pound to kill this guy.
I believe there's about a minute difference, I'd like to say. So, not horrible for Sefaro right now. He could still come back from this, because you never know.
Yep.
Don't forget about Moon. Even if you get past Mech, there have been some deaths. Or bonk on Moon, smiley face.
That's another big one. I mean, the bonk on Moon obviously can happen, but also Bowser fight in general, you can lose. Actually, super interesting how they both were in the electric wire there, but Rhea heading into the second section as Seth is heading into the first section.
Nice, gets the dive back. That's form of shards movement that you can do, because you have to throw Cappy at that you can dive back and still make it onto that platform.
Very clean shots.
Because if you're too late, Cappy will make it, but you won't make it back, and you'll most likely get hit by a Spiny. Nice shards
very
from
clean
Rhea.
shots.
Let's see if Sefaro does the whole Joy-Con strat.
So once again, pretty much one story section ahead right now for Rhea heading into this one single moon where we've seen people lose runs before, but pretty much the boss refights is the next thing on the agenda for Rhea.
Doing a spin pound or even just a normal ground pound there, much safer than a backflip, because we have seen certain world record holders lose runs to a backflip. Because Cappy sometimes just goes the wrong way if you backflip, and nobody knows why.
Yep. Called the Valu dive. Go figure out the rest. Sefaro actually falling down there and getting hit by the Spiny when he was attempting the dive back shard strat, which is why it can be, I mean, it can be a big deal if you get it because you save time, but missing it, getting punished, that's shards for you.
Well, I do wonder if either of them will go for Furry. I doubt it, but you never know.
Very, very few people have started to implement that strat, and we are talking about a strat that the runner Fur that is actually racing later today, so we will be seeing that strat at least once today. Came up
Last
with
race of the night against Equan.
Another big one. Actually, all of these races are going to be insane today. But yeah, that's like a first-person strat.
Oh, is Sefaro going for Dram?
I think he might have gotten it.
Yeah, that should work.
Or maybe not quite quick enough. You can basically like capture warp back to that pylon if you play well and have fast inputs and basically don't bonk. But also timing and also the cap throw position can pretty much deny that trick. And Rhea's just done with this boss fights then.
Hopper first, come on. It's the superior.
Can't say I agree. I mean, actually, it doesn't really matter, especially on high level, because, I mean, you can argue on lower levels that you want to pick up the checkpoint between them to refill your health when you deal with the harder boss first. But for those guys, those shouldn't really be a problem. Seth actually missing one of the phases for it there.
Freya going into the last non-boss section, the climb, which is probably one of the hardest movement in the game because you're constantly moving upward, and part of that is a moon in which you're about to see him get.
Very quick way of approaching that when you can do like a triple jump, but it's still totally fine and quick.
I believe there is a different moon you can get that is only very, very slightly faster, where you take a Pokio at the very start of Bowser's Kingdom and get a moon behind a wall up to the Pokio. Essentially a Dram, but Dram found Dram.
Yep. It does require some very interesting and fast movement to skip that box section, so it's very hard to actually save time with it, but it's once again a personal preference strat which you're more comfortable with. Like, you want to get the moon first, or you want to do the scary boxes jump with the bad camera angle. Personal preference. Ray heading into mech, which is the scary part of the run.
Now the question is, will they go for Harriet third target acquired? That's the big one.
That's the new hot mech optimization. It's like the best mech you can go for. Oh, actually, Bonky, I'm not sure if you can make that.
Okay.
Ooh, that still works.
Being that close to Topper is pretty safe. You can still make it back up there. Your spin pound just has to be really fast.
Yep.
You get there like super close to Topper, you do have to wait a bit on your spin pound or else you'll miss.
Exactly. So he's definitely going at least for Harriet third at this point. Not getting, I think, the quickest hit. I think the mech was already turning around.
Target acquired.
Doesn't look like it just takes the platform, but still got him getting Harriet third, which is definitely one of the hardest mech strats you can do.
No stranger to mech either, but don't know if he's gonna go for it. I didn't watch his mech and his no reset earlier, so I don't know if he's going for it, but let's see. Now.
Very good spin point there from Rhea. So mech is out of the way for Rhea. The only thing that pretty much is still in his way to close out this win would be the Bowser fight, moon skip to D skip. I mean, I almost say like only these tricks. It's still a lot of tricks, but infamously mech is one of the hardest ones. So let's see how Seth handles that one.
This is Rhea's race to lose right now, so it all comes down to Moon, really. And if Sefaro falls off mech, then, well, there's kind of hard to come back from that, but
we've seen it all, but Seth definitely needs to be focused now to get this mech out of the way, so he can basically still hang on to the chance that Rhea messes up something in Moon. And Moon is like the infamous split. And that would be interesting. Actually going for that one.
see.
Going all in. Ooh.
Gets it, wow. Is that the first double Harriet third we've had in a race?
I'm pretty sure it might have been. I mean, it might have been actually, yeah, I'm very sure actually, because I think when we had the bigger showcases, it was still not being used that much. But nowadays, we definitely see many people go for it, and Seth showing it off it. And not the target acquired, which is slightly faster because you instantly snipe the bubble before the mech even goes back, but it's only very slightly time save.
Rhea entering the Moon here with the great wedding outfit. Everybody loves that one. Only the only part of the run where you get to change your outfit.
It is very sad. If you don't run any very long categories like all unique moons where you literally wear a lot of outfits, you won't see Mario with much different stuff than his white cap on. But yeah, wedding, nice switch up.
Alright, hopefully no eye bonk on Moon. Does not bonk right here. Now, will he accidentally dive?
Gets both rocket flows a little bit.
Caves. Oh, jeez. Interesting.
Almost too much speed there trying to skip the swing. Basically roll cancelling off its head, but that's the first try moon skip. It's fast movement.
He did not
nice.
side flip on the first frame, because if you get a first frame jump after moon skip, bad things happen.
Yep. Rhea probably looking at around a 104 flat even. Might barely be, probably no 103 would be like insane. But if he got the high 103, but at least the 104 if he doesn't make any major mistakes with on. And Zeph trying his best to end this one, heading into Moon.
No spin throw strat on Bowser. Dang.
All of these.
This fight is very different, obviously, because he breathes fire this time and swipes his tail.
Way harder. What can you do against these massive flames? Undodgeable, actually. They're trying his very hardest to dodge these insanely difficult to dodge and dangerous flames, which are actually useless.
The second phase is actually like the hardest part of the fight because you can luckily manipulate Bowser during his flamethrower attack so that he lands on a smaller hill. I find it's way easier when he's on a small hill because if you're on a big one, then you're farther away from the hat and you can take damage.
No, definitely for sure. It's definitely way harder to hit him when he's on the to get in the head when he's on the big slope. But yeah, you can manipulate him and during his flame phase. Rhea only at 1 HP actually. Getting this third hit without any problems though. Doesn't want to get hit though, because if you make one mistake and make one early dive.
Sefaro would have taken the lead if he got hit one more time.
He's off though, off to the escape section of the run. And yeah, probably looking at, I mean, a 103 is technically possible if he plays like out of his mind on this escape, but potentially, like realistically, like a low 104 if he doesn't make mistakes on 2D, which is still the one thing that basically is between him and this win.
Will he go for the wall jump in 2D?
I don't even know if he knows it, because he has definitely been taking a little break recently, not been playing much. Apparently a week, and we've kind of really known this trick for like a week, but you can like it's probably not frame perfect once again, but you can mash B extremely hard to get like a wall jump off in 2D Bowser, but it's super small time save, which is very unreliable currently.
Oh jeez, Sefaro, oh my god. Cutting it very close on those tail swipes.
Rhea being the professional, not making any mistakes in this 2D section and just jumping on no 2D wall jump.
I thought he was going for it until he broke the block.
Yep. But very fast actually so far, very fast in this section. I mean, a 103 might barely be possible with like the insane pillar room, but we are probably looking at like around a very low 104, like 104.05 or something.
What, 50 seconds if you do it perfectly?
I think he got early pillar very fast there. Not sure if all of them hit, they looked good though.
The camera changes a bit if you get early pillar, so I don't think he did. Yeah, he tried sniping the pillar, so I don't think he got it.
Okay. He had like rumbles, but I don't have the game audio on right now, so he probably didn't get it, which makes his chance of 103 like impossible. But yeah,
tries to snipe it again. Let's see. No, doesn't get it.
Gets it right there. Probably don't
all the time from Rhea. Here and there, especially in Wooded and Metro, but pretty good. Able to pull out the win.
Yeah. Very solid time. Probably like a 104.08 or something, which is like very, very good.
104.08, yeah. Sefaro.
Seth's still holding his own and just finishing this 2D section here, and pretty much also done. Probably ending around like 90 seconds later than, like maybe 80 or something than Rhea, but still a very amazing race.
The only big thing from Sefaro that happened was Metro, Scoot Clip, and Luncheon.
Yep.
Only the downfall, but other than that, he played really solid overall.
For sure.
No reset right before helped.
Turnip Clip was definitely the biggest mistake that he made over Rhea, because Rhea obviously struggled with Scoot as well. But Seth still playing very solid. Rhea showing in some sections some very advanced movement, for example, like C-side especially was a big one where he made up a lot of time of just playing super clean, but still very solid performance.
This race is crazy.
Yep.
In sync at like 3 times throughout the whole run.
Yeah, like during night metro and then like after day metro, and it just kept going. And then both having some minor issues with Snowdrum, but yeah, definitely amazing race. Rhea advancing to the third round of this tournament, which is the races are just gonna keep going, gonna be more insane and more insane. We still have 2 other races tonight, but at first definitely GG's to both of the runners here. Sefaro ending with a 105.42, I guess that should be maybe like a 41, depends on the splits. Looks like a 41.
Man. Time your seconds.
Well, getting a 105.41 is still a solid, very solid time. Still puts you safely in the top 50, so definitely for a race or a solid time. But yeah, GG's to both of the runners. Let's see if Seth might join us for a little interview right here. No need. We will have a lot more races today. Actually, 2 very high class races. We will have, as far as I know, Chaos Pringle versus. Let's get to this after we've talked to Seth. Yo, Seth.
Hello.
GG on the 105. GG on the race.
Thank you, but I'm very unimpressed by this run.
I mean,
think you played pretty well.
From what I saw, you only had like 2 major mistakes, which were Scooter and Turnip. Like, that was a pretty solid start from you.
Yeah, I definitely played well up until like day metro, because I was still PB based.
Were you watching the stream? Because
yeah,
after you missed Scooter Clip so many times, Rhea also missed it so many times, and you guys were in sync for most of metro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. And then I also do want to shout you out because, I mean, it's something that, I mean, I have some intel on that, but I do know that you just recently updated a ton of luncheon strats because literally 2 days ago, you sent like a gold and we were looking at it and everything we told you about, you already edited, like the the strat for after torch, the spin pound behind the wall, the movement in general. So I was actually impressed by this run. Obviously, Turnip Clip not being nice to you there and the slide time losses there in day metro, but I was still impressed by that performance.
Thank you, Lynn. Good, yeah, I've been trying to fix my lunch and a lot of little tiny things I've been doing wrong. Oh yeah, that Turnip Clip was brutal. I really hated that. I just like killed my mood for the rest of the run.
Double Harriet third by both of you.
Oh yeah, that was something I was surprised by.
Yeah, too. I was like, I have nothing to lose anymore because he's already so far ahead and I've been practicing it, so I went for it and I got it.
Well, definitely still GG's. I was still enjoying this race a lot. Actually, I'm not sure if you were able to read chat, but most of the chat really enjoyed this race, and some people said like, "Oh, yeah, I'm glad I went out of my way to watch this because it was very close."
Yeah, it was sick. I definitely wish I didn't mess up luncheon. It would have still been close after that if I didn't problem.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us for this interview.
No problem.
We will be going into a longer intermission. Actually, we will probably be able to. We'll be back in around 2 hours, I guess, for the next race.
It's gonna be crazy. The next matchup,
which is going to be Chaos Pringle versus Kanikama, our first Japanese runner participating here. And Kanikama has been improving rapidly, getting a 103 like just 2 days ago or something. And Chaos Pringle, for some people, probably the tournament favorite. Super consistent, insane, any percent runner. Not so much in the longer categories, but hey, at least he got the any percent on his side. And we will be hosting Average Try actually as we go offline here for a bit, but make sure to follow this channel and return in around 2 hours for these 2 insane races. So see you guys very soon.
Bye. Follow me on Twitter.